3 years. 3 long years. I've watched Adam and all my other friends flying up the hills, and you know my struggle. You know how much I've struggled and how much I'm trying to get fitter and doing all sorts of zone 2 rides and going out on my hardtail around these gravel tracks, just trying to get some kind of fitness so that I can enjoy my rides on the bike. No matter how much I do, it just seems like an impossible task. I know I harp on about it all the time, but I'm 55 this year, a couple of months time, and it's not as easy to get fit as it used to be. I mean, I'm alright, you know, I'm not moaning. You know, I do alright, my heart rate's pretty low and I can do a 2-hour ride on my gravel bike, no bother. So yeah, that's fine. It's when you come out on your mountain bike and you're pushing up them steep forest hills, it's a different ball game, and it's so tiring and hard work. So the wait is finally over. I've finally got an e-bike. So I'm going to kind of keep this video short. I just wanted to get it out there because I know loads of you have been saying to me, get an e-bike, get an e-bike. So this is for you guys as well, just to see what I've bought and what my plans are and what I'm going to do with it. So let's have a look at it. This is not going to be some fancy video like the other one. I'm just doing a gritty video just to show you it. And there we go. So it's an Orbea Wilds H30. So pretty much a bottom of the range one, but I say that lightly. Bottom of the range is still an incredible bike. The reason I went for the Wild, it was, one, I love the look of it. It almost doesn't look like an e-bike. The battery tube's a little bit thinner. Certainly feels like one. It's still a heavy old beast, but that's to be expected, isn't it? But this one, I like the colour of it. I'm not the kind of guy who goes for flashy overstated colours. I generally wear black, a dark grey and blue bike. You know, I'm not really one for all the colours. You've seen in my nuke proof, I tried to erase the yellow off it because it was too loud for me. But anyhow, so I really like the colour. As you can see, it's like a metallic grey with a metallic teal, they call it, like a bluey green on the bottom. So yeah, looks really nice. I mean, it looks really nice as standard, to be fair, but I am going to do some upgrades. Now, I know a lot of you are going to say, oh, there's all sorts of quirks and problems with the Orbea Wild, and I know that. I've done a lot, and I mean a lot of reviewing of bikes, and there's loads of good bikes out there. This one, I mean, you can't say it's not a good bike. It's won the best e-bike of the year 2 years running with most of the people who review e-bikes. So how bad can it be if it's coming out on top of reviews 2 years in a row? So we know that it's an awesome bike, and I get that they use the high-end suspension, but my plan is to upgrade the suspension on this quite quickly. So I'm going to pretty much have the same bike that they're reviewing, apart from the fact that it's carbon that they review and this isn't. And I know that the aluminium frame makes it 1 kilogram heavier than the carbon bike, so not a lot really. It's a few bars of chocolates less to eat, and I'm the same weight as a carbon bike. I don't even know if that makes sense. I'll quickly go over the bad points, and I mean, they're not really bad points, but it's the quirks of the bike. A lot of people, the biggest issue that people have with it is that it's a non-removable battery. Well, that's not the case. It is a removable battery. It just means that you have to actually drop the motor out to take it out. Now, most people I know never even take the battery out, and it just gets rid of all of them rattles and points of contact when it's fixed in and you're not worrying about it. If I do need to take the battery out, like I say, you drop the motor and take it out. And I know it's supposed to be a bit fiddly the first few times, but you know, it's just one of them things. Doesn't bother me one bit, that. And Orbea state that the reasons they do that is that it gives a lighter bike, a stronger, stiffer bike as well, because this is all like one piece. There's no bits coming off here, no bits coming off there, so it just makes it a stiffer and stronger frame, apparently. No idea if that's true or not, but I have to believe them. While we're on the subject of the battery, I went for the 625 one. If I'd gone for the 750, it was about £400 more, and I just couldn't justify that extra £400. having the 625 in makes it 1 kilogram lighter, believe it or not, and the weight's down this end, so the 625 I think comes about here, the 750 comes about there. But to be honest, 625, the really economical system on these, so that's going to be enough for me. I'm not out for long days. And plus there's always the option of putting the extender pack on, which is about 400 quid, £400-500. Put an extender on, and that gives us nearly 1,000, about 950 watts hour if I needed it, but I'm not worried about that at the moment. It is obviously the Bosch CX motor. Another reason, just everybody, Bosch has just got such a good reputation. I know it might not be the best one these days, but you know, everybody says the Bosch motor is the way to go, and there's nothing wrong. I've been doing lots of test rides on Yamahas, and I tried the new Shimano 801, and apparently they're better now. So yeah, to be fair, it doesn't really matter too much what motor you get, but I just wanted to go for the security of a Bosch motor, the good system, the flow up, the controllability, all that kind of stuff, and lots of places can fix them. And the other thing, if I do come to sell it, it's easily resellable. People always say if you're buying a second-hand one, buy one with a Bosch motor because they're easy to repair. Staying on the subject of the motor and the e-bike part of it, it's got a really simple integrated part in here. You've probably seen this before in reviews. It's just got a very simple controller here, so it keeps it nice and clean and smart. So yeah, that's really good. That's all I need. I don't need all the numbers on here. Not bothered about that kind of stuff. So the other quirks that some people say they'd never buy the bike for is because of this system, the fact that the cables run through the headset, and I mean, it makes it look so much neater. I mean, look at that, it's super neat cabling. The big problem is if you come to change your headset bearings and that, you do have to undo your brakes and stuff and re-bleed them, because they have to come through here. As you can see, they run through here and through here. There's also other few quirks. This is a slightly different setup on here, but I'm reliably informed that you can take these off and change them for normal headsets and everything, so that's not a problem, but I'm in no hurry to do that. Other things to look out for that I've heard can go wrong is it's got like a stop block on here, stops it going too far one way. Don't know where it actually is on there, but apparently they break really easy. No big deal if that breaks. You've got to watch on the smaller frames, I think, for the shock hitting here. It does have a bit of rubber on here to stop it, but this is a size large, so I should be all right with that. Other quirks on these, the cheaper models, these cranks can come loose, so I've got to keep an eye on them, and everyone says to upgrade them to something a little bit better anyway. The Bosch motor cover on the other side, that's known to fall off as well. So every bike's got its little quirks like that. The only other thing, and the one thing that I've really got to watch for, there's a few reports that the frames haven't come aligned properly, and the way to tell is if you start getting wear on the shock here. So I'll keep an eye out for that, but it is a warranty claim, and Orbea will replace the frame and shock if that happens. Obviously, buying a new e-bike means it's fully warranted for 2 years and lifetime warranty on the frame, which is good. So the specs and size on it, I went for a large. I'm not going to run through all of the geometry figures. Look at the reviews. It's got awesome geometry. That's what makes it such a good bike. That's all I need to know. It's got awesome geometry. It's non-adjustable. They've said that they've got it so spot on, there's no need to adjust it, and you can't really argue with that logic. But anyway, so it's the size large. For me, the most important part was the reach, and the reach on this is 480, I think it is, 480. Now my nuke proof was about 475, and I was really comfortable on that, and I've had a quick go at this at 480 and it feels fine. But I think if I ever do change the stem, if I come to put a different stem on, I'll probably go to like a Burtec 42 and just bring it back a little bit, so I'm a little bit more in the range. But I feel good on a large. I know I'm just under 5'10", I'm about 5'9.5", but I just like the stability of the bigger bike. It is a full 29er, so 29 front, 29 rear, and I know kind of thought I wanted a mullet, and people were saying, oh, get a mullet, and I know it's the big thing now, but if you watch the EWS and the EWS, the e-bike EWS, it's not called that now, it's called the EDR and EEDR, whatever. Everybody, I would say 90% of people are on full 29ers, and they are pinning it. So if they can ride 29ers, I'm pretty sure I can ride a 29er. I don't think it's going to make much difference to the handling for me. And like I say, if the pros are riding full 29ers, how bad can it be? So spec wise, like I say, because it's the H30, it comes in with the baseline suspension, and it's going to need upgrading to get the best out of the bike. But my plan was, the fact that I got this so cheap, the $5,500 for the 2024 models, and now there's places around got them on for a good few £1,000 cheaper if you go for the 2023 model. And I know that the only difference in the 23 to the 24 model is the spec it with an Assegai instead of a Minion DHF. So no difference basically. It's even the same colorways on it, and it's $5,500. So yep, I got this for a good few thousand cheaper than that, which makes me very happy. So the actual specs, I can't remember exactly. I know a few of you are probably eyeing that up. I'll come to that in a minute. It has not got a bottom of the range derailleur on it. It's got quite a decent derailleur on, I think. It's a Dior XT, so that's not bad. I'm not sure what this is. I think it's like 2 from bottom, so it's not the best, it's not the worst. E13 chainring, my Volt pedals, E13 cranks, which I've already said they need changed. So, you know, it's alright, it's not brilliant. The discs are, again, quite thin. They're 1.5mm thick discs, so I'm going to probably change them out for some Galfa 2.0 discs. They're cheap as chips. You can get them for about 25 quid each, and it'll just help with the heat dissipation. The shock is the new Fox Float Performance, which I thought it wasn't going to be the best shock, but I've been talking to a few people and said, you know, it's actually not too bad for a beginner, you know, so I'm not going to be in a massive hurry to change that, and it feels all right so far, but obviously I haven't ridden it properly yet, just up and down a gravel track. And it's got lockout, no compression adjustment, but I think this red one's probably the rebound. Well, it will be. I have not adjusted that yet. Front shock, now this is where things start going downhill on it. The fairly entry level front shock, it's the RockShox 35. It is 160mm. It's got nothing. You could put your air in, probably put a token in it, but you can't adjust anything. You can't adjust compression, don't think you can. Oh sorry, yes, you can adjust rebound, but yeah, pretty basic. But again, just going along these gravel tracks, I mean, it feels all right, but I know it's not going to be very good. So my plan there is, I think I'm going to put a Fox 38 on it. Not the factory. I'm going to go for the Performance Elite, which is a factory fork, just without the Kashima coating. So performs exactly the same, and there's some good deals on them now that the new Fox X2 shocks are out. So that's probably what I'm going to put on the front. Brakes, right, so come standard with these Shimano, I don't even know what they are proper entry level brakes, so not brilliant. 2-pot caliper, it is a 203 disc front and rear, so that's one thing, so that's not too bad. But when it came out the bike shop, I asked them to put a Hope Tech 4 on, because that would just save me having to run all this through there, so they did that. Big shout out to Westbrook Cycles in Middlesbrough, who sorted me out the bike and sorted out doing the brakes for me as well, so that's really good. The rear caliper is the E4 version rather than the other one. I can't even remember what it's called now, the Tech 4 V4, so it's the E4 version on that, which is means you can run. There's a more selection of brake pads I think you can get for them, but everything I've read is the equally good unless you're doing big on downhill stuff, so that's actually going to be good. Haven't got them bedded in yet, but the plan is obviously to get another one of these on here at some point. The fork will go on before I do this, because that's, I mean, it stops us and I'm not going fast, but yeah, that's it so far. Got my water bottle on, not really a lot else to say. Our tyres are So it's the pretty much the same as what I had on the Nuke Proof, except this has got a DHR on the back and the DHF on the front. The Nuke Proof had 2 of these on, which I find alright, you know, they're not too bad. It's the EXO Plus casing. They're currently got tubes in at the minute, so that'll be getting changed, but I'm taking it out on the trails tomorrow without doing that. I'll just make sure I've got a spare tube with me. So that's pretty much it. The new bike, finally, I'm so happy. I know my friend Adam, if you followed our journey, he's been on an e-bike for coming up to 3 years now, and start of this year he got his brand new high bike Freeride 8, which you'll have probably seen on his channel, which is an amazing bike as well. He loves it, and it's just going to open up such a world of possibilities for me. You know that a lot of the times I don't get a lot of time to ride, and I might be able to just sneak out for an hour or two, and if I go up my local enduro trails, I generally get 3 or 4 trails in if I'm lucky. Not now. I'll be able to blast through up them hills and get a lot more trails in, so I'm hoping this should bring my riding on loads and loads. But anyway, that's it guys, just a quick one. I am out on it tomorrow, going to Chopwell Woods, so I'll get a much better feel for what it's like when I'm on proper trails, and then I'll talk to you about that in the next video. If you want to see that next video, hit subscribe, like, do all that stuff that YouTubers tell you to do. See you next time.